What's going on, guys? This is the revised edition of me talking about the Yangju highway incident, and I had a little bit of a tongue twister to that incident. All the facts still remain in order, but I need to do a revised edition because of that. And I caught the tongue twister today watching the video, so I caught it. You can't hold it against me because I caught it. Okay, everything remains the same. These U.S. soldiers did not intentionally run over the two South Korean middle school girls. The two South Korean middle school girls, God bless them, they were taken away way too young. I hate that it happened, but it was not an intentional homicide, not an intentional murder. The South Korean middle school girls were named Shin Hyo Soon and Shim Mi Sun. And God bless them and their families. Okay, all right, talked about the reasons that it was not an intentional homicide. Okay, I don't have anything against the Yangju province of South Korea. Promise you that I don't. But the roads in that province where the incident took place were very narrow. They were not very straight either. They were very curvy, and you could not tell where you were turning. It was very difficult. Plus, there were not any sidewalks. And I saw photos from those roads in 2002. And these girls were walking in the middle of the road because they had nowhere else to walk. They were going to a birthday party. And the armored vehicle was an AVLB vehicle. It carried a mobile bridge, and there was faulty communications in that vehicle. So the soldiers could not communicate with one another to tell each other to slow down or to speed up or to stop. Because after the incident happened, the soldiers got to the nearest parking lot they could and ran over and administered medical care to these middle school girls. And they were crying, administering medical care, because they were so sad and distraught about the situation. And that's what happened as well. And also, there was other armored vehicles that were signaling to the soldiers to slow down, and trying to tell them to stop, but due to faulty communications equipment, they couldn't get the signals. The drivers of the vehicle that accidentally ran over the two middle school girls could not get the proper signals. Okay, that happened as well. Okay, and then after the incident, the soldiers' families raised money and got a memorial for the middle school girls where the incident took place. Plus, the U.S. military after this stopped training exercises off base on those narrow roads. Also, the Yangju province revamped their road system to prevent incidents like this from occurring in the future. The Korean military had the South Korean military had the same exercises around that time, and there were a lot of close calls between South Korean armored vehicles and pedestrians as well. It wasn't just the United States military. Also, where by law the United States military should have taken the trial, because if it happens, if incidents like this happen on a training exercise, even if this training exercise is off base, the U.S.-South Korea Forces Agreement state that it falls under the jurisdiction of the United States military. Now, they can turn it over to the South Korean government if they want to. They chose not to in this situation. I firmly believe they made the right decision, because the president of South Korea at the time was a man by the name of Kim Dae-jung. He was a very good, God-fearing man. I disagree with him on some things, but he forgave two men that tried to kill him in the 1980s, Chun Doo-won and No Tae-woo. He pardoned them in the name of national reconciliation, even though they could have been sentenced to death under the newly democratically elected South Korean government for some stuff that they did in the 1980s that were very horrific and very criminal, like ordering the soldiers to massacre civilians in Gwangju, which is what happened. And Gwangju and the Jeolla province was Kim Dae-jung's region. Kim Dae-jung's kind of like the leader in that province. But he pardoned Chun Doo-won and No Tae-woo in the name of national reconciliation. That took a lot of guts to do that. So I have nothing against Kim Dae-jung. He lived in the U.S. for 2 years in exile. And also there was a U.S. ambassador to South Korea, Donald Gregg, that he befriended. He befriended Donald Gregg, and they remained friends until Kim Dae-jung passed away in 2009. But when he was president, he gave North Korea a lot of money. He had a sunshine policy and unconditional economic engagement. And when he met Kim Jong-il, the summit cost $26,900,000. The South Korean government paid $26 million of those dollars. North Korea only paid $900,000. Also, during his presidency, the North Korean defectors living in South Korea, Kim Dae-jung sent some of them back to North Korea. He sent some of them back to North Korea. Mostly, though, the defectors were largely silenced and highly encouraged not to speak out against the atrocities that were committed to them in North Korea while they were in North Korea. And some of them were in concentration camps, too. Particularly, Kim Dae-jung silenced a lot of people who lived in the Yodok concentration camp in North Korea. And the defectors felt like they needed to speak out. The defectors were kind of treated as criminals during the Kim Dae-jung presidency, the same as his successor, Roh Moo-hyun. And so the U.S. did not feel like they could put the soldiers in a trial with Kim Dae-jung being president. It just felt like it couldn't happen. The U.S. military felt like it couldn't happen, as well as the U.S. civilian government of President George W. Bush. They felt like they could not, give their soldiers to a Kim Dae-jung type government and expect a fair trial. And I can understand their concerns. And that's why I believe they made the right decision, keeping the trial within the U.S. military. Okay, then after that, let's talk about what happened. Okay, and then the U.S. military dissected and examined the tank, or the AVLB, armored vehicle, very, very carefully, and they found faulty communications equipment. And that's just what they found, and so that's why they were found not guilty in the trial. It was an unfortunate incident, but there was no psychopathic behavior, no monstrous behavior, intentionally running over two innocent middle school girls. So, anyway, hope everybody's doing well, and the soldiers in Yangju, they were acquitted, but their reputation needs to be built up and stay built up. So, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.